I don't quite know how to actually say this in a very articulate way. I just got done crying again, and I really hope that this channel would have some positivity, but lately it's just been vent after vent, I guess, and I don't even have that many videos. Sorry if my voice is kind of weird. It's just my nose is kind of snot, I guess. No, it's a cold I have. It's cold I've been having. I I don't know, honestly. It's a new angle if you guys noticed. I I've been, you know, I can't really say soul searching. My exams have just gotten over, and well, it's just everything hit me. Ever since the exams began, right, my semester end exams at uni, I kind of suppressed everything that has been going on in my life or feelings that I had. And I didn't exactly, I didn't deal with them. I just shoved them aside. And I thought I'd be okay. That I lived with a friend for like an entire week because as you guys know, if you've watched whatever video I mentioned this in, I travel uh, to my university or uni every single day, and it's like it drains 4 hours of my life or my day every single day just to travel. And I had enough of that, and I had exams and I needed to do well. I didn't really prepare much. I just had to get shit done. And I had to stay with a friend for a week. In this week, I had just been getting barely like 6 hours of sleep. At some point, I had barely 2 hours of sleep. I was just awake the whole night trying to cram in as much as information as I could. And, every single day for that week, I just had one meal a day. And the reason why I'm using this angle is because if I use my front angle, I genuinely look starved. I look hideous, honestly. This angle is the most like tame angle. Like it doesn't show much, but I am I am very, very um thin right now because of how how rare it was for me to eat. I mean, because of not eating more than a meal a day, just one meal. And you know, after the exams got over and I had to pack my stuff, my dad came to pick me up from my what do you say, from my friend's place because I really didn't want to carry like three bags or something all the way in a train where people would stare at me. You know, that's something that I have to discuss at a later um, in a different video. But like, yeah, as I was sitting in the car, right, I started listening to music as I always do. So I don't really talk to my dad, and everything just hit all at once. One of the days of that week, or this week actually, it got over yesterday, which was Saturday. One of the days of the week, I don't remember which one of this week, my mom called up, and if you guys, you already know this, people who know the context of my videos, which I really encourage you guys to go watch so that you understand what's going on in my life. My mom went to the Philippines, and I'm left to fend for myself, the, my mom and grandma. It used to be very difficult back then. I mean, uh, 2 weeks ago, but now things have been okay. You know, um, Yeah. So one of the days of the week, my mom calls me, and the reason why she went to the Philippines is because she has to take care of her mom, which is my grandmother. And, she's been getting like a lot of problems and stuff. She lost her voice. It went from being a normal grandma voice to being like high pitched and weak. And now, well, she video called me or VC'd, FaceTime, whatever you guys want as a term. And she was like, say hi to your grandma, and she pointed the camera or video or whatever to my grandma, who was just laying in bed, um looking kind of lifeless, very lifeless actually, but she's still alive, just letting you guys know. But she was bedridden. She had been bedridden for a very long time at this point. And there was like some pieces of like, what do I say? What do you call it? Food or something, soup on her bottom of the lip, and like my mom's sister, or my aunt, was like taking the spoon and like like pushing it up to her mouth, and her eyes were barely open. That's not really somebody who's gonna make it that long, who's gonna stay alive for that long. And it hit me like a car. I wouldn't say like a truck, because it only truly hit me yesterday as I was coming back home. And um, it hit me like a car. The like this person is not gonna make it much longer, And my mom, she was treating it like it was an everyday occurrence, She's like, um, because my mom's from the Philippines, right? She says nanay, which means mom. Shortened form of it would be nai, which is like saying um mom instead of mother, I guess. Sorry, my tongue slipped there. Mom instead of mother. And she's like, nai, look at your grandson. He's saying hi to you. And I was like, hi, hi, But deep down, I was at a very big, like, I was at loss for words. I couldn't, I, I couldn't process the fact that this person who I was looking at through the screen was my grandmother, who was the same person who I could logically conclude would not make it much longer. And yesterday, while coming back home, it all hit me. This is the end of my sophomore year. I have 4 years as an engineering student. I don't know what I'm gonna do for my fourth year, which will probably be filled with internships and everything. And this is third year that's gonna start on July. It's gonna be my only shot at doing something, making memories and stuff. I've made plenty of memories. I would love to talk about them sometime soon. But I, sorry, I only have 1 year left before I start to like focus on trying to build a path for myself. And this course that I took for college, biotechnology, I don't see myself pursuing. I only got this course because it came from this very prestigious college that was the best in this state, I guess, you know. And I was happy. I was happy that I got into this college where I could meet lots of people, and I did. Not a lot of them stuck as my main circle, but I do see them occasionally here and there. I made some good friends. And by the end of this semester, before the exam started, I realized that there was so much left for me to do. Things were just getting started. But what comes after? What do I have left after this? I'm not gonna let myself get a job at anything biotechnology related. And my dad wants me to pursue something that's like pursue higher studies. Sorry, my mind kind of zoned out for a sec there. My dad wants me to pursue higher studies. Go go for my masters and stuff, and I don't really want to. I will decide it. I will talk to him at some point, but it's just still way too early because I'm in my second year. Anything can change. One of the things that I hope will change is this, you know, this thing, this content creation. I have big ideas for this channel that I will implement over the course of this break till July until my college starts again, which I mean even after that I'll still continue making content. I want to completely commit myself to something for once, man. I can't keep being a slacker. At some point you realize that life isn't about enjoying anymore. I will 100% give as much as I can into making memories that are worth it in this college, but I won't just focus on trying to have fun, focus on rebelling against the education system as I always do. I want to do something in life, to commit to something. I've always been very impulsive or, you know, uh, just random bursts of energy, I guess, is what I've been doing most of my life. Sorry about that. I thought somebody had entered the room. I, where was I? Yeah. I want to be able to be proud of something. I want to be able to make my mark in history, not as somebody who has contributed to a bigger picture, but somebody who has started the bigger picture, somebody who laid out the canvas for one. My goal has always been to leave a mark in history, a good mark, something that I can pass down to a legacy, if you may. And, you know, it's just, I need to do something before that. It's my end goal, but not my main goal. I want to live a life which that can like help me and help others. I'm sorry, this is a bit of a tangent from my original topic, but the point is right. I want to have something that I can show for. Content creation isn't really something that I could show off like other people, like engineers, right? They have their work to show for. Just being an engineer itself is like a big title, a big thing because people know you're earning good. People know you're contributing to society. But when it comes to content creation, right, you could have anywhere between 1 to 10K and people wouldn't care. You could have 100K and people might be impressed, but it's not like they'll all like your content. Not everybody looks at content creation like it's some life achievement. I haven't been through the deepest valley of darkness or something, whatever you might call it, the trenches, right? Trenches. I haven't been to the trenches. I haven't been through child labor or anything like that. But I would really like to at least have something to show for, even if it's content creation. I want to be able to show this to people, that I've made progress, that I've done something that I can say has, imprinted itself into history, even if it's through the internet, even if it's not something I can show physically. But thinking about what's gonna happen these past 2 months, I planned to read a lot of manga, watch a lot of anime, experience life again. But lots of those things are done through a screen. Even gaming as well. I plan to game a lot. Was thinking back on it, right? What was I mean, it's gonna benefit me because I like exploring different themes in life, psychologically, philosophically, everything. And it's gonna benefit me because I'm gonna experience emotions I haven't ever felt before by putting myself in the place of all these characters whom I will immerse myself with, whom I've never seen before. I have never seen before. But like that's just me, that's just in my head. I even if I were to connect to somebody genuinely, like heart, soul, everything, right? This really doesn't give, you know, that much value. And sure, people remember you not because of what you've given them, but because of how you've made them feel. But it's like, what is what comes next, What what else happens? What else can be done? This kind of things you'd have to sit down with just one person, one on one, and talk to them about, and have them listen. And that's not really an easy thing to do. I have friends who do that, and I'm really thankful for them. But it's not every day they can sit and listen. Sometimes you need an outlet, which is this channel. Sometimes you do need an outlet for just speaking and have other people listen. And I'm thankful for who listens to this. This is my longest video so far, and it's 16 minutes long. I hope that you know I'll be able to make something out of this, because I feel so lost. I don't know what's coming next for me, and I wish I knew. I wish I was ready. I'm not. I'm still a kid. You know, I say that with shame because I I imagine myself at 14, 15 as a I imagine myself as a 19-year-old when I was 15 to be somebody who's taller, which is kind of sad because I'm 5'4", stronger, well put together, and knows his shit. But I don't know my shit. I'm still lost. I still cry whenever things are hard to handle. I still haven't, made anything that I can show off, show people that I've done as an achievement. I still haven't treated people to the things that I want them to experience. I still haven't I still haven't got the best of life, and I wish I could. Sometimes I fear that my life might be taken away from me at a snap, you know. A car could, run into me at some point. Uh, a rock could be flung at my face, smashing my skull and thereby taking my life away at any moment. I could genuinely just slip and fall in the toilet, hit my head, and never recover. Maybe even be paralyzed, or maybe even lose my memory. And you know, all of this, all of this would just lose meaning because I just started this channel, and you guys haven't seen the full picture. Before I go, I would at least like to leave 80% of my life here. I would want people to just sit and listen to what I have to say, even if I'm a child, even if I'm a crybaby, even if I'm, you know, a piece of shit, because I have been a piece of shit for a long time, and I'm trying to work on it. But old habits die hard, as the saying goes, and I'm not proud of it. I definitely am not. Try my best to not become like my parents. Try my best to become a good person, good enough to become a parent. That shit is hard. Shit is generally hard. I hope this video goes viral, and even if it does, I hope somebody finds it later in the future, because, you know, um, guess the me of the future would have a lot to say about this. I feel so lost, and I have nowhere to go right now, except forward, of course. But I'm struggling to even stand up to take a step forward. I know I will. I'm not making excuses. It's just where I stand right now. If you can even consider it standing, everything looks so exhausting, so tiring. I don't even think of it as scary. I just don't have the will, just get up, and on. I'm not saying I want to end it all, you know. It's just I wish I was a bit more together sometimes. I wish I could, you know, look at all of this and think of a plan or already have proper decent plan so that every time I freak out, every time I feel like something things are getting out of hand, I could always go back to that plan, check the progress that I've made, and comfort myself knowing that I'm still. Unfortunately, I don't have that, and you know, I just I wish I had that. I wish I had more, but that is all. Thank you for listening. Uh, Thank you for taking a look at my hideous malnutrition as well, which also is. Thank you, and yeah, I don't know. I keep turning. I'm sorry. Thank you for listening. Get out of here.